Hello and welcome to the Creative Commons open source office hours. We are live coding on codebuddies.org. Today I'm gonna go through several aspects of the day-to-day open source work. I'm going to start by going through these notifications on GitHub to see where some of these tasks are, and if there are, it seems there are a few pull requests and other issues waiting for feedback. And I'm going to continue working on the current epic. Coordinating with the creativecommons.org website redesign, where we're implementing some Figma designs, and we need to go through each of the main design pages and see how well Gutenberg could support the desired layout. Started with the home page and have made some progress. We'll get into that a little bit more. Let's refresh that because there's actually a couple more comments. There we go. And some learnings and no responses. And this is the homepage mockup. We'll dig into that momentarily. So let's go to the notifications. I usually try to start in reverse chronological order. Let's see, I've responded there. It looks like, so CiviWiki, there's several project pull requests and issues. And what was this? So looks good. All right. So we will go ahead and approve those changes. Oops, wrong. That button used to be up there. And merge. And we're using all contributors. And this will add Anshu for their documentation contribution here. All contributors encourages people to contribute to open source projects based on their own unique skills, and recognizes that code is not the only way to contribute, and documentation is definitely important. But even some more what are kind of conventionally called soft skills, like community development, outreach, those are really important as well. Design, just getting into more technical areas, usability testing, all sorts of ways, bug reporting, there's many ways. So we want to kind of honor the diversity of the community, the contributor community, and encourage and recognize people's contributions. So what this all contributors bot does is it adds a table of contributors to our README, and I need to actually alphabetize it. I think right now it's I'll show you. We'll take a look at it. It's in order of recognition, in other words, not necessarily the order they contributed, but this is just all contributors. We first mentioned Mitchell and went through all of these people, and here's Anshu. One of the things that is worth considering is when making contributions on GitHub, try to have an avatar set, because in this case, these are the automatically generated avatars from GitHub. There's a few of them, and GitHub doesn't go back and, all contributors doesn't go back and update these avatars. So once it's recorded in our table, I think it's set. I'm not sure. We can test that, but I believe it's just the automatically generated one, even if you change your profile picture. Okay, let's continue. Just adjusting the microphone here. So we've got another CiviWiki pull request. When you start localizing these. Not part of this task though. Okay, there is, this could be linted, but it's so minor. I can see the convention. They're just, well, sort of keeping the end of block on the same line. It's just a little bit of a, it's a little bit annoying. Let me see. Because black should also automatically lint this. So it's the branch. Okay, that should come up over here. Pull requests. 970. There's been a lot of changes to development type of pin in here. Okay. Let's check out that branch. No. Check out pull requests. I don't remember if we've installed black on this project, so maybe we'll check that first. But we're in, for example, forms.py. Yeah, and this isn't necessarily code that they've touched. Well, this one is. I'll just ask them to, yeah, there's one. Lint the code with black. I think that's, yeah. Wrong, but. Yeah, we're just trying not to be too opinionated about linting rules and following a generic guideline. Like, actually, I should put that as sort of review comment. Other than that, this pull request looks pretty good. Kind of strange. Why is that? Yeah, this is what that black will take care of. It's a function-based view, right? Okay, we got inline styles, but there's not really a strong CSS, to my knowledge, guideline here. I'm just glad to have the template, frankly, ported over to Django, so I'm going to let these inline styles, we'll just ignore those for now. It's not so pervasive in the project. We'll probably, just like the localization, we'll need a more comprehensive pass over or pass through the code with, let's see, we've got some. some layout oriented styles. I'm sure there's similar, these are layout oriented as well. Anyway, just a little lint here and there, but nothing bad. Mixing quotes, spaces. All right, overall this is looking good. All right, next, user profile template. Let's see, account and profile related code to accounts app. Okay, do we have conflicts? Okay, different project now. All right, I was like, wait a minute. All right, so they had multiple ways of getting the project. Oh yeah, very good. Yeah, that's clean. Wow, really good. Got the Unix and the Windows. Excellent. Wow, really great. Yep, same thing here. Hey, Roberto. Sorry if I missed your message. Welcome to the Hangout. I gotta keep my eye over there on the chat. It looks like I missed Roberto. They bounced. Okay, Patrick, Code Bunny, no, 09. Looks good. Okay, so bumps the contributor number there. Excellent. The other CiviWiki is not doing that for some reason. Okay, dokie. Now we can check that out. So we got 4 contributors, and it jumps us down here. Bring. Very cool. We're looking for a project name, by the way. Here it's too generic, and I want to move this out of my own namespace here, just to a own GitHub organization and turn it over to community stewardship. It's a proof of concept at this point. It's not deployed anywhere, and it's really alpha. But we're trying to figure out. It's essentially an open source social network built with Wagtail, and we'll determine, what kind of networking is. It's microblogging or just. I think it doesn't have to fit a particular category. You'll just be able to share multimedia and just share your thoughts via whatever medium and length, and create connections, form groups. I think primarily, given the state of social media, how quickly it turns toxic, it might be good to do some research on how to keep things not wholesome, but I don't know. Keep things from turning sour, basically. Either misinformation or just disagreement about everything, and ad hominem attacks, those types of stuff that create a toxic and unhealthy and mental environment. Also, endless scrolling. How to avoid those types of things, kind of. So it's useful. It's genuinely useful and enriching. I think that will be maybe what can differentiate our project from some other social, open source social platforms. Cool, just thinking aloud. And here's another contribution. All right, well, let's see. basically we bumped into this thing with Wagtail. One of the first things you do in a Django project is override the user model, even if you don't make any substantive changes, so that if you do need to make substantive changes to it later, you don't have to run a migration in the production system. I guess it's one of the more difficult models to migrate. So we did override it, and we made a relatively minor change, but we made first name and last name fields optional. Now, I don't know, as a brief aside, hopefully, if having people's first names and last name would make the social network more accountable, and so by extension would promote more discourse, I don't know. Probably not. I think Facebook has first names and last names, and still there's a bunch of misinformation, and not so much, at least I don't use Facebook much, but I've not seen so much arguing and disagreement. Anyway, we made these fields optional so that people could have anonymity. They were required in the default Django user model, and when we made the fields optional in our database, everything worked correctly except the Wagtail user account form. There's like this settings page here, account settings, and we also had to override the user edit form. So we're trying to figure out in both places. It's partially documented, so I did create an upstream issue. I'll just mention this here quick. I have troubles with GitHub names in general. Cool. It is probably a common issue that people are going to need to change their user model and subsequently change the Wagtail account settings form and user creation and editing forms. And just having really clear instructions, I think would be good here. It's decent. I mean, overall, the Wagtail documentation is great, but sometimes there's levels of documentation, and one I think would be useful here is more of a tutorial level, where it's like just step by step showing you a whole use case, and it comes close to that. And then there's like API level documentation where it describes different functions and hooks and things that are available, which is also pretty well fleshed out. All right, cool. So I'm just threading those together a bit. Close a couple tabs now. Mm. There we go. Very cool. Another contributor. Now this is a big task, what was mentioned earlier, and so we might want to use this as a cross-cutting opportunity to work on the pull requests in progress, or just at least be aware of the new templates that have been created that they'll need. This is really an epic, but okay. But they'll need internationalization, or yeah, good. All right, and then these are just ones that we've merged today, so I'll go ahead and done those. And this is Western Friend, so I'm just leaving it open here. I think it's I had some lint. Yeah, Pepe speak. All right, cool. Notifications done. 33 minutes, 33 seconds. Cool. So yes, this is the epic level. We've got some assistance on the task. On one of the tasks, multiple tasks. So essentially, yeah, for each of these, we're going to look at Figma mockups to see what the desired result is, and kind of break it apart, like dissect it into Gutenberg components, the generic ones that are already shipping with Gutenberg. See if there's any combinations of just the generic Gutenberg components that might be good to just fuse together as, I'm not sure what the term would be in Gutenberg's parlance, but they're like blocks of blocks, basically, is what I'm calling them. They're like a card block has like a title and a paragraph text and an image. And yeah, so that's what I'm basically trying to do, is building the pages with Gutenberg blocks default on the homepage and find out where the shortcomings are. And I've been digging in a little bit to how to create Gutenberg blocks, so we might have to do some custom block building. Sorry. Here's one of the shortcomings we found. The buttons don't quite work as expected. I was thinking about opening a support request for this. Okay, so check it out. Let's see how we do this now. I'm going to be opening the VS Code. So. I think I should open a support request for this because it was not intuitive. When I apply additional CSS classes to the button, it created this container div, which may have already been there, and applied the CSS class to the container instead of the buttons directly. Now it's surprising. GitHub. Let's see if there's anything else button. Yeah, this is actually. Yeah, so cool. I don't have to open an issue. I'm glad for that. What I will do is copy these. All right, coming back to that later. I guess my recommendation for right now is just to not be too. We'll discuss this, but not to be too insistent that we have the exact button styling. Otherwise, that'll beg to the idea of creating custom Gutenberg block or something like that. I'm actually not really, honestly, wanting to really do that. Based on my initial research of how you create Gutenberg blocks, if there's just a way I can do it with, or an article I can read about how to do it with just standard JavaScript without Webpack and all that stuff, that'd be good. Here it'll be a whole React Webpack, everything else experience. All right, so continuing. where we left off yesterday. Let's run the project. So we have a development container. It's actually a few containers. But once those containers are running, you can access WordPress on localhost. There's the button. It's buttons plural because I ended up making it just with HTML. We're not going to expect our content editors to have to paste, copy and paste HTML in there, though. It was just well, proof of concept. And I have looked also, there are existing Gutenberg widget collections, block collections. We might be able to draw on one of those or extend one of those. There was a, we're using Bulma, there was a Gutenberg Bulma collection from Purdue. Doesn't have a block element, but that could be something we could add. In any case, the block, the button in question here, I'm not even sure what style or class it's using, but these are the more conventional Bulma buttons. There's a Bulma form. Most of this is just Bulma, I think, inspired. Cool. As an aside, I think anyway, it was decided to use Bulma, and I think I understand the appeal and excitement around new things. And Bulma is really polished, but it's also a single developer and not maybe as well, I don't know, yeah, not as mature as Bootstrap. I really think, you know, as unglamorous as Bootstrap sounds, because it's been used so much, it's been used so much, making it mature, and it's got a lot of maintenance ongoing, and it's continuing to evolve. So yeah, I think we should be in the future targeting Bootstrap. Anyway. So we're using Bulma here, and it certainly is nice. Okay, so the next section I will build. I will remove this learn more button, include one. Or what I could do is demo just how it would look with the standard WordPress, sorry, the standard Gutenberg button block with the correct color applied. So I should have a color chooser here. And just go back here. Color chooser. I am keeping an eye on chat now. Sorry about missing your message there, Roberto. All right, color chooser. There's a little more tools. I'm missing it. I'm just not reading carefully. Aye. Could be under elements. Color picker. OKSD. Yeah, right. Oh, I like the eyedropper. Wow. Makes sense that the context would be to tweak settings and stuff. Anyways, this is actually all I needed. I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out. Alright, so we're going to change our button color. And I might be able to define a button style. Or register or define, whatever it is. Well, this is pretty close. One of the tasks we have is to allow to set up a default palette based on the Creative Commons. Oh wait, that was the wrong one. Text color white, background color custom. Perfect. Oh shoot. Wait a minute. I mean, it looks, overall looks good. I'm just going to delete this. Oh yeah, I need to take the custom style off there. I mean, that ain't bad. It's not bad at all, but yeah, it's not hard to change it either, to be honest. Flip it colors is not a default theme, but there might be a way of styling that. Split from 113. Not necessarily best, but wow. Let's see, so several of the pages. split from, what is it, 113. Put it in the backlog. Good, that way I'll remember it. Initial notes. So what we can do is add another section. Let's just get a couple of these screenshots. Photo. Cool, get these all. 4, and then I'll bring the captions in when I upload them. I think I'm going to use the photo gallery block, default. So we'll add, where do we go? Another row. Actually, I'm just gonna perhaps just repurpose this row. All right, so we need a header. Can I just take this text? No. What I'm gonna do is just pull this over here. So we need columns. Okay. How do we do this? So we got a row. I want this column to be full width though. Okay. And this is just a paragraph. Yeah, should we like that? So the color should be, roughly speaking, let me see if I start that. Paste, no, of course not. Shoot. Inspect element. This is where having this defined color palette will come in handy. Oh, okay. Oh, it's this one. There we go. Nice. Doesn't have to be exact. We're getting there. And then what I'll do is, I think we'll just have to add another row block. It's essentially columns. That same background. We're gonna have a, well, start it off. Image, probably work. Just while I'm here though, I'm gonna set this background color while I have it in my clipboard. I'll add the caption in a moment. Oh, come on. There we go. color white. Yeah, I'll do white text on the background. I hope that the image captions don't do this. It's a pain. Dang. All right, so that's good. Proof of concept will update the page, refresh, and those don't blend together. Now that was unexpected. Previously, there was no gap between those. I think the part of it is the block type. So this needs to be set to full width, and that should take care of it. The gap, or else there was another setting. Oh, that's cool. The somehow the colors are appropriate. Now, how did I do that? Well, that actually worked pretty good. Then I don't need to change the color. Ah, I see. So yeah, it did pick up the color. Let's see what that looks like. Not bad. All right. And why didn't the header change? This should be white. It was white. It's white here. Oh, okay, what happened to the text? Okay. Overall, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's in line with the spirit of the design, all built with the Gutenberg editor. Pretty cool. Ah, this is not changing colors correctly. Let me see if there's some kind of styling involved here. Header. It's a bit problematic. I'll just acknowledge that. Take a screenshot of this. Just move the width so much. All right, well, I think that's about it for today. Welcome to a recap of today's Creative Commons open source office hours. We've been live coding on codebuddies.org, and we've been continuing our work with the WordPress Gutenberg editor to try to realize a mock-up from Figma. Oops. Should have opened that in another tab. Essentially, though, we're trying to build this page layout using only Gutenberg default blocks. So let's take a look at the progress we've made. We've started with the second section of the page today. After making minor adjustments to this top section, I essentially reverted this button to just using the default Gutenberg button styles, so meaning rounded edges, and just changing the color to follow the Creative Commons style guide. And that was after an experiment yesterday trying to apply a CSS style to the button. It didn't quite behave as expected and had some renders on a parent containing div, and it's a known issue, turns out. And there's a feature request to try to resolve that. So we'll sit back on it and continue our work exploring the capabilities of Gutenberg. So from the mockup, we essentially have, decomposing this to kind of components, a header, paragraph, and some images that are in columns. And we agreed not to use this kind of staggering, and we have captions on each of those images. Gutenberg has components for all of those, so we essentially created a column block here, a header component, paragraph component, and then I was able to nest a column block within the column block. I'm not exactly sure how I did this. I just basically dragged it and dropped it, and it looks like you can just, I could just add, below this paragraph, another kind of block type element. In other words, like not an inline element, but a block. And columns block is a block type element, I guess. And added 4 columns with 4 images and 4 captions. It was all pretty straightforward. And for more insight into the full process, you can check out the live stream. Now, a couple of notes. The rendered output is slightly different than Gutenberg. As you can see here, for example, most of the text is white, which is the way I've configured the block. But the child elements in the block editing interface apparently don't pick up on that parent style, so they rendered by default as a gray text. However, when we switch over to the front end, the texts within the block are rendered correctly, except the header. And I believe this header issue is inheriting from our CSS, which is overriding our style.css, which is overriding the Gutenberg styles. So I'll have to figure out a strategy for handling that in a follow-up session, but there's probably a specific class I'll be able to zoom in on or something. Expect to specify not to override it or something. No, it's just regular header level 2. Interesting. So we might not want this global setting for the header color. I think that'll be probably the best solution, to let local changes override the global header color. So that's a global setting, as I mentioned, so it's going to affect other parts of the website. I'll have to think about it. Okay, that's essentially as far as we got today, taking a little bit of a further tour through the Gutenberg editing interface. Overall, it's been a great experience. and very active development, and a lot of people having bumped into issues, so I think that makes for a mature project. Again, this has been a CodeBuddies.org live code hangout. If you'd like to get involved with this or similar projects, stop by CodeBuddies.org. You can participate in hangouts, groups, and discussions, or help develop the CodeBuddies.org platform on github.com/CodeBuddies. And this has been Creative Commons Open Source Office Hours. The idea here is just to kind of showcase what we're developing and hopefully encourage community engagement and maybe even participation. If we're going to have some discussions during these office hours, if there's questions about other open source projects or particularly the open source at Creative Commons, please do stop by the live stream and CodeBuddies Hangouts. Thank you very much for your time and have a great day.